Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. On this episode, Vincent LaRussa joins me, and we sit down and discuss and debate and compare some of our favorite Kiss and non-Kiss things to each other. I'm talking about songs, album covers, albums, you name it. Lots of great things to discuss here, lots of fun, lots of laughs. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this. Let's jump in and let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. Today I'm excited to have back with me once again my buddy, my partner in crime, the chemist, the man with the black shirt, Mr. Vincent LaRussa.
Actually, this is navy blue.
As I was saying it, I'm like, ooh, it's tough to tell on my screen. Is that maybe not? Very good, navy blue today. I like that.
Hey, I don't want
2022, you're going to mix it all up on me, huh?
One day I'm going to have like yellow on. You're going to be like, whoa.
I'm not going to know what to do if that happens.
Well, or my favorite color, orange.
That's right.
Which would be something. You could call me Pumpkin Boy.
Maybe next year when we do a Halloween episode.
Next year. What about this year?
That's true. That's true. It's already the new year. That's right. Yeah. So maybe this year, if we do a Halloween episode, you come as Pumpkin Boy.
Did we do that last year? Did we do a?
We said we were going to, and then we never did. So
So I'm not letting you off the hook this year. I don't know.
No. Probably, well, not if I'm going to get Pumpkin Boy.
Well, I think that's right. That's true. I think that's right around the time you went on the Kiss cruise. So it might have been, so we'll have to maybe, pre-record it. You know what you see on the bottom.
Well, I also might not do the cruise this year. So yeah.
Ooh, that sounds like a whole other discussion.
Yeah, I might not be doing. I said after 10, and I went with my family that I was going to retire the cruise, and as of right now, that is the last conversation I had with the family about it.
Yeah, once you find out Johnny Rotten's doing the headline, you'll be there.
Well, that's a whole different story.
Right. Yeah.
Right, if Johnny Rotten's on there, Weezer's on there.
Right. Johnny Rotten and the Rottens.
The Johnny Rotten and the Rottens. It's an interesting band. Oh, man. Well,
for those people who don't know who Johnny Rotten is, the lead singer of the Sex Pistols.
Well, if somebody's watching this and they don't know who Johnny Rotten is, then I mean, I know these are Kiss fans that are watching this right now, but how can you not know who Johnny Rotten is? Come on.
I was just having a conversation with one of my friends, I forget which one, and they were talking to somebody in their 20s maybe, who did not know who Kiss was.
You know what? In your 20s, I can understand if you don't know who Kiss is, Johnny Rotten. I can live with that.
I could see Johnny Rotten, not Kiss, though. You still got the guys with makeup. I mean, for God's sakes, they've been.
Yeah.
I mean, in pop culture or TV or whatever. I don't know, but
this is the way I look at it. If you're 20 and your parents weren't big into music or big into rock music, but somehow, some way you became big into rock music, it's possible you don't know who Kiss is. Possible.
Obviously, it's possible because I have one as evidence of one. So
right. No, but I'm saying I can understand that. And what was it? I don't know. I'm probably going to pronounce her name wrong. I think it's Billie Eilish. Right. I remember she was on a TV show a couple of years ago and she said something like she didn't know who Van Halen was. And Van Halen fans got all over her. And I loved Wolf. Wolf was really cool. And he tweeted something and said, look, if you don't know her music, check it out. Her music's pretty cool. And if you don't know Van Halen, check them out. They're pretty cool also. And he came to her defense. And I'm like, you know what? If you're a kid right now, Van Halen, just as an example, they haven't toured, they haven't put out anything. I could kind of understand if you're 17 and you're not reading magazines and all of that. Maybe you don't know a Van Halen song.
Are there such thing as a magazine?
Exactly. That's my point. How are you going to find this out? You have to Google Van Halen. Well, how do you know to Google it? Somebody has to tell you that, so.
Right.
Oh, I could understand it, but whatever the case may be, that is not the topic at hand today.
I was gonna say, what are we talking about today on a Sunday morning?
On
Sunday morning.
So for me, now that's a good No Doubt song. If we want to talk about it, I love that song from No Doubt.
That is a good No Doubt song.
But that's another whole
the
Tragic Kingdom album. Great album from the '90s. But what we wanted to do today, and I guess it will play into some other bands to some capacity here. We were going to do like a little comparison of Kiss related things. Sometimes Kiss to Kiss, sometimes Kiss to non-Kiss. Kind of like a this or that type of thing. It could be songs, it could be album covers, it could be full albums, it could be anything that we wanted. We put no criteria together, Vincent and I, other than we wanted to compare two things and have Kiss to Kiss and Kiss not to Kiss. I have no clue. Go ahead. However, what were you saying?
Some of my things are not Kiss to Kiss. I threw a couple because I thought I had asked you.
That's what I just said. Are you not paying attention?
Oh shit!
Are you not paying attention, my friend?
Listen, it is Sunday morning.
All right, rewind and listen, and you'll hear I said that.
Okay. I'm still intoxicated by the shoveling I did yesterday.
That is fair point. Right? Fair point. Okay. I just got all the snow out of my beard finally. So. No, but you're right. It's Kiss to Kiss and Kiss to non-Kiss. But this is what I love. You have no clue what I'm going to ask you, and I have absolutely no clue what you're going to ask me.
So, but wait a second. Yeah. I see. It's not clear. I have non-Kiss to non-Kiss on my list too.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll be interesting. I did not do that for you.
That's what I was trying to see. See, yelling at me, and you're not listening to me.
You didn't speak proper English when you first brought it up.
You see, I don't know. You're probably right. We'll go back and
we'll have to go back and watch it. And did I jump the gun on you needlessly there?
Did you jump the shark? Yeah. Are you Fonzie? in the leather?
I'm Fonzie. Well, I did not do non-Kiss to non-Kiss, but if they come up while we're talking, I'll certainly throw some at you.
Okay.
If not, we'll have to save that for the next time we do something like this. I'll certainly throw some at you.
Majority of these, at least more than half, I think, are Kiss to Kiss or Kiss to non-Kiss.
You are open to ask me to compare any things your heart desires.
Great.
Okay. But what I'll do is I'll start. And what I started with, so anybody who knows you, as long as I do, knows that in the 70s, who was your favorite member of Kiss?
Peter Criss.
Okay, good thing you answered that properly. Otherwise, my next questions would have been all wrong. Yeah. Right. So Peter Criss was your guy. I know you've shown on the show yourself in Halloween dressed up as Peter Criss with the makeup on with your mom. You've spoke about meeting Peter Criss and what that meant to you. You spoke about, not being at that final Peter Criss show. I
know it was nice delivery, by the way.
It's the running gag, so I have to make sure I toss it in there. So I figured I would start with a couple of Peter Criss things for you, since Peter's your guy. All right. Okay. And I really don't know how you're going to answer somebody, so I'll be as interested. I'm
excited about this.
See, I knew I could get you excited by starting with some Peter Criss stuff. So let's start off comparing some of the Peter Criss ballads, some of the classics. Hard Luck Woman or Beth? What's your preference, Mr. LaRussa?
Mr. LaRussa, I like that. Such respect on a Sunday morning.
That's right.
Wow, that's a good one. So this is like if I at Desert Island, if I had to bring 145.
Yeah,
of course I'm bringing
145. Vinyl. Of course, exactly. Yeah, but if you're bringing one MP3 file with you, Hard Luck Woman or Beth?
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like when I can start right out of the gate with a stumper.
I'm probably going to go with Hard Luck Woman. I'm probably going to, and I know it wasn't written by Peter, like Beth was supposedly, or whatever, the whole story behind that, but, I've performed that live, and I think what makes me gravitate towards that is that I feel that song should have been a hit, and if it wasn't a Kiss song, or if Paul had given it to Rod Stewart, I think it would have been a hit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's how good I think that damn song is. Look, the vocals on both songs are very different. Both are tremendous vocals. I guess in some ways, Hard Luck Woman is a little bit more obtainable. Because it doesn't have all that orchestration, and you could strum that on. You could play Beth on acoustic, but it lends itself better to the acoustic guitar, in my opinion. And when I performed it, or I performed it with bands that have played the song around me, I know what that sounds like. So I think I'm gonna go with I think which is like the underdog of those two songs, or because it wasn't the hit song.
Right. Well, it's funny because it did chart, and I don't have it in front of me, but I want to say it hit top 30, but it was one of those, Casablanca was paying off the radio stations or the magazines, whatever it was that charted those things at the time. And, I don't think it was a big radio hit, like you said. So, but it did chart, I believe. So let me ask you then, since we're talking about Hard Luck Woman, what did you think of the Garth Brooks version?
Oh, I love the Garth Brooks version.
Yeah, I think he did a great job on it.
Yeah. It's if you go on YouTube, you could find when they did it on Letterman.
Yep.
And I can never find a good quality version of it.
I taped it myself off of Letterman, so I might have a decent quality.
So, yeah, if you have a better quality
Hopefully I didn't tape it on SLP.
Yeah. I thought, they did it very true to the record.
Yep.
But, Garth did. I love the live version of it.
Yep.
Part of what I love the live version is because you see Paul doing the harmonies.
Yep.
And then they had, like, I don't know if she was a fiddle player doing the fiddle or whatever.
Okay.
And she did a higher harmony that's not on the record, which I think, if I remember correctly, did Kiss ever do that unplugged?
Yes. Yeah, but Paul always sings it.
Yeah, but Eric did that part. He did that.
Right.
Yep. Eric would do that high. Because if you think about it, before they had Eric in the band, Eric started doing a lot of the Paul parts.
Yep.
But I always love that extra harmony that's in there. It's fucking great, So
yeah. Yep.
That's why I love. Honestly, I don't know if it's on the Hard. Is that on? No, that's not Hard to Believe. There was two Kiss cover albums that came out. That was on the Kiss official Kiss. What was that called? Kiss My Ass.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think I like the live version better, just because you get to see the visuals.
Sure.
You get to see like Kiss in their revenge era, Gene and his,
Right.
It's
performing
cool.
Hard Luck Woman with Garth Brooks.
Right. Yeah. It's awesome. And
right.
I remember I think Garth Brooks got like a blue shirt, like collared shirt with the hat.
The hat. Yep. Exactly.
It's awesome.
It is. Yeah. You know what? I think I would have picked Hard Luck Woman over Beth also myself, just for the record. So all right. So I started with a tough one for you. I'm going to stick with Peter Criss though for a little bit here for you.
Okay.
But this time we'll go a little bit more rockier, I guess. Baby Driver or Dirty Living?
Oof. These are good ones.
Look, I told you I was going to make this tough.
Such different songs.
They are.
Why I love Dirty Living is purely the groove and the bass in that song.
I figured you would say that. Yeah.
I mean, who played bass on that?
I don't know if we know for sure.
I don't think Gene played bass on that.
I'd be surprised if Gene played bass on it.
I feel like Neil Jason played bass on that.
You ain't kidding.
But there was a maxi 12-inch version of that song.
Yes. Yep.
Man, that's hard. Probably it's gonna win over the bass thing just because I just love the groove of that.
Yeah. Now, do you think they made those faces when they played the bass also?
Oh yeah. Okay. Vinnie Poncia was definitely going.
Okay, that's good.
Like Tell Gene, yeah, remember that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'll probably lean. Baby Drivers again. I think I'll say this. I think Baby Driver is a very underrated song.
Agreed. That's why I chose it.
I think it flies under the radar more so than Dirty Living.
Yeah.
You know what
agreed.
I mean? Not that Dirty Living was a incredibly popular, but I guess Dynasty was a relatively popular album because of the hit.
Yep.
I Was Made for Loving You. Yep. So maybe got some more exposure, even though.
Well, I also think that on Rock and Roll Over, people tend to think first of Hard Luck Woman as the Peter song, and Baby Driver's the afterthought, right? Because he had two, whereas on Dynasty he only has one song, so therefore it's Dirty Living by default.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason, but that's one of the reasons I chose those two, because I agree. I think Baby Driver is a very underrated song. I happen to love it. I choose Baby Driver over Dirty Living personally, even though, like you said, I think more people gravitate to Dirty Living for all the reasons that you just highlighted.
Yeah. I'll say this. I think maybe Baby Driver has a better vocal by Peter.
Yep, I would agree.
So.
I would agree.
But you got the Figmeister on the drums. Oh, no, wait.
On Dirty Living.
Song. Wait,
no, I think Peter plays drums on that song, yeah.
Right, that's the only song he played on. Right. So
scratch
that, and I quickly, because I just think of...
Well, because we're thinking Dynasty, so we're thinking he played... Right.
But he did play drums on that one.
Well,
Although he didn't play on anything on Unmasked.
Peter didn't. Right. Correct. I thought you were saying Fig didn't. I'm like, well, Fig played all the drums there. Right. All right. So now I'll try to go a little easier on you on this one. I think I know the answer to this. Yeah. Right. But so many people look at Peter's 78 solo album and rank it at the bottom of the list pretty much. Right. And when they're listing their favorite Kiss albums, the Peter Criss 78 solo album or Paul Stanley's Live to Win? Ooh, the fact that you're even hesitating is, I'm surprised.
No, I'm really not in a way. It's because, okay. Because it's just coming to my mind. Listen, I've said this when we reviewed the solo albums, I believe. And for those who haven't seen that, you can put that link in.
I'll put the link in. Mm-hmm. Put the Abraham Lincoln.
Put the Abraham Lincoln in. That was the first and only solo album I got as a kid. That was the one I chose. Again, to what you asked me earlier, or confirmed that Peter was my favorite. I still remember being, Christmas morning, going into the basement and putting together my Micronauts set that I got for Christmas with that record on. I could remember what sticker I was putting on at what part of the album. That's
wow.
How, I don't remember, what I did last week. But these are things that was so impressionable upon me as a kid. So
sure.
Just on that alone, I'm going to pick that album. Very different records, obviously.
Very different, yeah.
I think that, listen, you got to be a fan of that style of music, I suppose.
Right.
But I think that album's aged well, and I think I might have said that back.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think on the last episode I mentioned that I said probably in 10 years I wouldn't be listening to Live to Win, nor that I think you're really going to put that in your rotation anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I would put Peter Criss solo album on, definitely before that.
Well,
and I
funny.
did put Live to Win on in the last couple of years, just to say, yeah. And I would start listening to the song, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's good. All right, next, let me hear what that other one sounds like. I didn't live through the whole album.
Mm-hmm.
Although, again, I think it's a good record.
Well, I'll tell you, I put it on when I put this list together a couple of days ago. So, yeah, I got to go back and listen to Live to Win because I don't know which of those two I would choose. And I was surprised there was a lot of Live to Win. I'm like, yeah, I like this. Yeah, I like this. Still Boomerang is boo, 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 boo in my mind.
You can still call it Boomerang. It's not Boomerang.
Boomerang.
That's not the song.
Oh, yeah, it's not Boomerang. What is it? Bulletproof. That's what I always call it, Boomerang.
2 shows in a row, folks. Let's see if we can make it a third.
That's right. Stay tuned next week when I call it Boomerang yet again.
Bulletproof. Boomerang, I throw it at you right now.
Really. Bulletproof is still to me is horrible. Bullet. I just and there was one of the ballads also. I forget which one it was. I was like, oh man, this is way cheesy for me.
Yeah.
But for me, the 2 albums might be a toss-up because I think, like you said, I think people have learned to start to appreciate the Peter Criss album more as we get older. I've always thought there's some great songs on that. For me, I'm going to call that one a draw, and you're not allowed to. When I ask you these questions, you always have to choose one. But since they're my questions, I'm allowed to say that for me, that one's a draw.
Fair enough.
Okay? So you mentioned before how we've done some of these other episodes or whatever. Last year, maybe even 2 years ago at this point, we reviewed the Crazy Nights album. And, in that episode, you highlighted how, for you in the 80s, that's almost like it's such a great memory of the 80s and the Kiss albums in the 80s. So
when you went and bought your copy and get me one, yeah, I remember.
That's right, exactly. That's right. A lot of Kiss fans obviously trash it because of the poppy sound of it. Oh, I love the head nod and then
I got to give the story really quick here.
Go ahead, give the story.
This guy, you know what this guy does? My best friend of at that point maybe. That came in
87.
87?
Yeah.
My best friend of 14 years at that point. So it's a Saturday night. I go over his house, and Crazy Nights had come out as a single.
The single.
And we
both had the
had
single.
it. And so we go over, and that's the first song on the album.
Yep.
So as we would do, we'd hang out. He puts the record on, and I'm listening. And Crazy Nights.
Right. And you're assuming I'm playing the single.
Right. And then the second song comes on, which is what again?
I'll Fight Hell to Hold You.
And for some reason, that was not the flip side of Crazy Nights.
But you didn't react at all when I was playing that song.
Didn't react.
No reaction at all. That's no reaction.
Right. So it was the third single, Bang Bang You?
Yes. The third song was Bang
Oh,
Bang
not
You.
third single, third song.
Third song.
So we had known about that title because back then we didn't have internet. We had. So all of a sudden I hear, "You're gonna bang." I was like, what the? And then you and your brother were like looking at me, waiting, like they couldn't believe. So you had acquired the album.
Before it came out, yeah.
Before, right. But okay, again, he acquired the single album. Not two of them. Not so that I could have a copy.
Nope.
I think it came out that Tuesday coming up,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, a couple of days later, yeah.
Because you had a connection back in the day that you would get things. So, so that's the quick, which was it's an awesome memory now. I mean, actually,
it's an awesome memory now. But that night, I think you wanted to beat me up, like that. I had the album, and
I think I did like start like punching you or something, like not really punching, but I was like,
right, like,
either that or your
beating me up or whatever. Right, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So, but all right. So, but obviously in the '80s, that's the poppy Kiss album, and a lot of Kiss fans kind of shy away from it. So, in terms of poppy Kiss songs, "Crazy Crazy Nights" or "I Was Made for Loving You"?
Which is my favorite?
Yeah.
Probably "I Was Made for Loving You." Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow, I thought you were gonna go "Crazy Nights." I didn't know that you. Is it the bass line and "I Was Made for Loving You" steering you that way?
Probably, and maybe it's fresh in my mind. We were actually doing the other night, as I may have mentioned, I'm in a '80s tribute, not '80s tribute. I'm sorry, '80s cover band, but we call it '80s and more. And we're throwing in anything into the bucket. It doesn't matter what type of sound. We don't even have a keyboard player, but we're doing songs with keyboards. So one of the songs that one of the guys chose was "You Spin Me Right Round," or whatever. You spin me right round, like the impersonation. So it's got this bass line. It's like, and so I'm playing this thing, and all of a sudden I start going, and my lead singer Joe looks like. And we start singing "I Was Made for Love You." So now we put it as a medley, like.
Oh, very cool.
So I was like, and so we all started playing the song, and I was like, "Damn, this song is fun to play." You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if I'd had the same kind of feeling for "Crazy Nights." Just as
fair enough.
It's got a great groove. It's a disco song. Let's not mince words here or whatever.
Right.
But I just think, listen, if not for this alone, did I say that right? The bridge part and Paul's vocal is one of the best things Paul's ever done on wax. Period. End of my,
Okay, I can understand that.
That falsetto part, I can't tell you how incredibly hard that is.
Yep.
No auto tuning, no digital, no bullshit.
Yep.
Yep. Maybe they slowed the tape down. I don't know. They could have done that. Was a little trick. But even somebody said recently, I think Rick Beato said he does What Makes This Song Great, and I recommend people watch that. It's really, really cool. He said you could only slow down the tape so much back in the day where the voice then starts to sound artificial. There was nothing digitally to make it, all right, now let me fix that, But, yeah, I just think there's so many elements. And I love Crazy Crazy Nights.
I know you do. That's why I chose it.
Yeah. And so does Brian May, by the way.
That's right. Very true. Very true. And no, honestly, I think I might choose Crazy Crazy Nights over "I Was Made for Loving You." Yeah. As much as I like "I Was Made for Loving You," I've never loved it. And especially in the last 5-10 years, Crazy Crazy Nights, maybe it just brings me back to that time. Maybe it was even when we did that podcast episode and you really highlighted what that album meant for us in '87. I really started to really like Crazy Crazy Nights even more in the last 5-10 years.
Same here. Yeah. And, I think maybe it's because they've done a lot in concert, so you might have a little bit of drunk on "I Was Made for Loving You," Maybe. Crazy Crazy Nights, they've thrown in the set here and there.
So then I'm going to totally shift gears on you then.
What number are we up to?
Well, I'm mixing things up a little bit. So I think it's like the 5th or 6th one I'm giving you.
All right, okay.
So I'm going to give you 1 or 2 Kiss versus Kiss. Then I'm going to venture out into some other non-Kiss things with you. But we were talking before and I misspoke about Bulletproof and called it Boomerang, right? Which I always say is the worst Kiss song, certainly the worst Gene song. To me, there's 2 songs on one album, which I never understood how they ended up on side 1 back to back. They're 2 shit sandwiches in my mind, although I loved when I heard Kiss do them live. So that says, I don't know what, but Two-Timer or Ladies in Waiting?
Going right to the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Two Timer. I like better.
You like better. Now, let me ask you: do you agree with my rude comment there that they're two shit sandwiches, or do you actually like the songs?
I was never a huge fan of both songs. I'll put that out there. I haven't really thought about this.
I don't understand how they put those second and third on the album. To me, they're probably the two weakest songs on the album, in my opinion.
Now when I think about Two Timer, you got me really thinking, and it's probably going to upset you when I say I want to cover that.
Oh boy!
Especially I've been on a Gene kick recently. But what I love about maybe a little bit stronger. What I really like about Two Timer is the groove on that song. I mean, just thinking about it now, I'm thinking outside the box here.
Go ahead. And I'm hitting you with these.
It's kind of like
coming in cold. You have no idea what I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, It's kind of like an interesting, tone that they got there, and just the way it's kind of like sloshy. Tempo wise, it's kind of cool, and it's got it says, "Did they call me a 3-time loop?" Is that a pre-chorus? Would you call it? And then it leads up to. I actually think that's a good pre-chorus.
Okay.
I think what you get back is, you get the Gene.
Exactly.
So you get that exaggerated Geneism vocal.
Yep.
But I'm gonna go with Two Timer. I think overall it's a better song.
And I'd probably agree with you. Although tomorrow, if we record this again, I might say I prefer Ladies in Waiting. Both of them would probably be in my 20% lowest Kiss song rankings, in my opinion.
It's definitely the weaker songs on that record, for sure.
Yeah.
So
then let me ask you, people always point to Gene's 80s output as being subpar. There's one or two songs that people always point to as being one of the better songs of Gene's from the 80s, either Secretly Cruel or Hella High Water. So let's stick with Hella High Water. Hella High Water, a two-timer. Right, I'll take your winner over there. Which one do you like better? I like how you go right to the bass lines.
I got them. I'm thinking of all the parts, You know why I'm going to say two-timer here? Because I can't think of what the verse is in Hella High Water. Here I stand all alone. Is that?
Right. That's the verses. That's the
I
verse.
remember. So
I'm gonna love you, come hella high water.
Right. I just remember again being in your abode listening to that. We were all like, "Why isn't Gene singing like Gene?"
Right. He's not singing the Cookie Monster voice.
Yeah. Again, very different.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love Dress to Kill. I love that record. Even the weakest stuff on Dress to Kill, I love, in ways. And now that you're bringing these two songs in the, again, I don't think they're the best songs on the record.
Right.
Two-Timer or what was the other one? See, so much I can't hear.
Ladies in Waiting.
Ladies in Waiting. Yeah.
Oh, so then I'm going to stick with Dress to Kill for a moment here. Then I wasn't going to ask you this one, but I'm going to throw it in there. There's two Wicked Lester covers, if you will. She and Lover All I Can. Which one do you prefer?
Well, they're not covers, though.
No, you know what I mean. Right, yeah, exactly.
No, say it right.
All right, you're right. Two leftovers from Wicked Lester that they put onto a Kiss album.
Oh, okay. So
Lover All I Can or She?
From Dress to Kill album?
Yeah,
or
from the Dress to Kill. No, from Dress to
Kill.
Oh. The Kiss version.
That's a good one. That's a real good one. I love those songs both for totally different songs. I mean, Lover All I Can's an up-tempo, and it's funny because I think Anthrax covered both those songs.
Right. Yep, I think you're right. That's interesting. I never thought of it.
That might be the toughest thing you've asked me so
Really?
far.
Wow. Oh, good. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't eliminate this one from the list.
That is good. Wow. Man, I got to really think about this. I'm probably going to go with Lover All I Can because of the drum break.
Yep. For me, it's not even close. Lover All I Can. I've always thought that was a great underrated. I wish I still had these lists I put together, like favorite Kiss songs in the 80s that I do. I think even in the 80s, I had Lover All I Can as like one of my top
I've always
20
loved
Kiss
that
songs.
song. But
to me, She's always like plodding a little bit. It's okay, but it's not great. Love Her All I Can, I think, is amazing.
Yeah, I knew that. Like I was alive for those 5 seconds that I didn't speak. By the way,
you would look deep in thought.
I had because I'm because when you ask me these, we're not prepared.
Nope.
So I'm playing
because that's what I want. I want you to just cold reaction. Hey, this is what I think. I don't want you to overanalyze beforehand.
They're so equally satisfying playing either on guitar or bass. I know a lot of times I bring up, he's talking about playing the intro, but I'm giving you that perspective. It's listening.
That's your life. Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Love Her All I Can. Again, it's probably not only just the drum break, but the tempo has got a lot, and it is the more underrated song from the record. Sure. They never did that live. She's on a live one. So. Yep.
So, all right. So I'm going to go with a few Kiss versus non-Kiss things for you now. And some of these I tried to make fun also. I hope you'll appreciate some of the fun ones. But I'll start with one. In the 80s, I know you're a big Cinderella fan. I think Long Cold Winter album was one of your favorite albums from the decade. So I'm going to say Cinderella's Coming Home or Kiss is Coming Home.
Ooh, this is good.
Obviously, same title, two very different songs. But I knew you were,
Mr. Brunn.
Yeah, I knew you were a huge Cinderella fan. Probably one of your top 5 bands of the decade. So, Coming Home.
All right, so I'll say this: until Kiss is Unplugged, I really never realized how great Coming Home was.
And I think you said, because that was one of my favorite songs ever.
But I'm fully admitting it, and we discussed that before, and I didn't even realize that. I think you had mentioned on one of the shows in the 80s. Even at that point, you loved that song that much, right? Am I misspeaking there?
No, you're 100%. In the 80s, it might have been my number 1 favorite Kiss song.
So I'll say this. The Kiss Unplugged version of Coming Home, I'm going to pick over Cinderella's version.
Okay. Which, again, is a totally different song. It's not a Kiss cover. The Cinderella song is great. I love the song.
But I'm going to pick the Kiss version.
So, but then studio version against Cinderella. So does it go Kiss Unplugged, Cinderella, Kiss Hotter Than Hell for you?
Well, I guess I'm going to say, if you're just talking about what I think is the better song, I'm going to pick Coming Home, period, end.
Which one? It's Coming Home or Coming Home? All right, he picked Coming Home. Great job.
All right, Boomerang, just chill out. The Kiss version of Coming Home. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I thought you might take Cinderella there.
No. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to think of some of the other songs that might not even be my favorite off that record, but we don't need to go there. That is a great record. I'm going to put that on. I think today. I got the vinyl here somewhere.
Yeah, it's a great album.
As I'm looking for it. It should be quickly at my disposal. Look at how convenient this is.
Look at this.
It's like right there.
There it is. Look at that.
Look at it with the hype sticker.
Yep. No, it's a great album.
J&R, absolutely what great. The hell price is on this? Oh, wait, what does it say?
$7.99. I can't say it now. It's a glare, but I'm going to guess $7.99, $6.99.
$7.49.
$7.49.
I bought this in June of '88.
Nice.
The Last Mile. Yeah. Gypsy
it's a great album. Yeah. Great album. I'm glad I gave you something to listen to on this fine Sunday afternoon now. So then, all right. Then I'm going to try to, I think I remember you saying on one of the prior episodes we recorded that one of, if not your favorite Kiss songs, but one of your favorite Kiss songs is Love Gun. Right? So I'm going to try to.
Definitely top 5.
Top 5.
I almost said maybe top 3, but I think that might be.
So,
yeah, I gotta think about that.
So we'll say top 5. We also know the Beatles is one of your all-time favorite bands.
Oh no!
And we
Don't
know
do
that
this to me.
Today,
do not compete. Do not put Kiss versus Beatles.
Today's the anniversary, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think I got my dates right in my head. Yeah, today's the 30th. Today's the anniversary of the big rooftop performance, and they had the movie documentary. Get Back.
Is that in the theaters today?
Yeah, I think they're showing it in the theaters for one day only today. So I figured I'd go appropriate since the movie was out, and all of that. The Beatles song Get Back, or the Kiss song Love Gun?
Love Gun.
Wow, you didn't even hesitate. Oh my God, I'm shocked. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not a Beatles fan the way you are, and I might choose Get Back.
Wow.
I think Love Gun's good, but I've never thought Love Gun is great.
Well, you've never been a huge fan of the song. I was surprised it was
yeah.
revealed.
I think it's an average song, and I think Get Back's a great song.
I think you're nuts. I think Get Back's a great song also. But
so what Beatles song should have I chosen instead? Because you didn't hesitate.
Oh, over Love Gun?
Yeah.
I mean, if you would have said Yesterday or Love Gun, I would have been like Yesterday.
Right.
If you would have said...
I didn't want to go like a ballad type song. I did think of Yesterday when I was doing
if you would have said With a Little Help from My Friends, I would have said With a Little Help from My Friends, I mean, I could think of Beatles and Kiss are my two favorite bands of all time.
Of course, yeah.
And, I'd love to see them in a, steel cage match, you know what I mean? With the songs, albums, and, Beatles had a very short, lifespan from 64 to 70, basically.
Yep.
Super Mario will probably correct me on that one.
But, I thought
he'll be like, well, actually, they started, and he'll know that he knows the whole.
Of course, absolutely.
Which label?
And did you say 64 to 70? Because I thought it was like 62-ish.
Well, I think they got together. I'm talking about when they released records.
Recording, right? Okay.
Yeah. They were, yes.
Yeah. Right. All right. Thank you for that clarification.
Like Kiss was like 72, 73, but 74 is when the album came. So
okay, I can understand that.
You think of the Peter Criss. It's like the Peter Criss era, 74 to 80.
Right. Agreed.
It's like the Beatles' existence. It's like
I can live with that.
Record.
I can live with that.
Interesting. I never really thought about that.
Yeah. All right. I got a couple more for you, but these are going to be the fun ones now, I think. Okay. I chose two cover tunes from the late 70s. And this one's, like I said, this is going to be fun. I'm actually laughing thinking about asking you this. So the Kiss cover is Ace Frehley's 2000 Man. Mm-hmm. Or the Miko version of the Star Wars theme. I know you love that Miko version of Star Wars theme.
Ooh, that's a good one. Listen, all right, so for those
I'm glad I got that reaction from you. There's no way you expected that. Right?
No. Kiss fans are obviously going to know 2000 Man, but if you haven't heard the Miko version of the Star Wars, he also did like Close Encounters.
Yeah.
I think he did a whole bunch of others. But anyways, you should go and listen to that. And there's a part in the song where they got the Cantina band. Now, all I know is I used to literally beg you to put it on. I chose this. And it would start off like, and you do this gun thing. So there's like this whole like act that you would do. And then when we come to that part, you do like the horn player. And your brother would like, and then you got to the point like, oh, I'm not doing it. Like, so you kind of put me at an unfair advantage here because I have such fond memories of that. From a song standpoint, of course, 2000 Man. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say 2000 Man. Right. But as a memory of my childhood and like just a certain fondness for that Miko theme. So am I really answering your question? If you're asking me what's the better song, or what song I like better, it's 2000 Man.
But if you could only take one of those songs with you on a desert island, which one do you take?
See, that's interesting because, like, if I'm all alone, at least I could be like thinking of that memory of like as a kid, and then if I listen to 2000 Man, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's another great song off of Dynasty. So I might take the Miko theme just for that one reason. That's good. That's good.
Oh, I'm glad. Well, all right, then this will be my last one. This one's not as much fun, but I know it's another classic late 70s song that we always loved. So I'm gonna again hit it up against the Peter Criss song for you though.
Pina Colada?
Oh, how do you know that? So I'm gonna go. That's great. That's how well we know each other, right? So I'm gonna go You Matter to Me versus the Pina Colada song.
Ooh, good one. Another good one, Brunn.
That's great that you said Pina Colada. So that is absolutely, I love that. That's my favorite part of this so far.
Yeah. Again, I have such a certain affection for that Peter Criss solo album, and just that. I don't know, just something that does it to me for that song. I'm gonna go with the Peter Criss. You Matter to Me.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I thought you might go Pina Colada on that one.
No, I mean, listen. Again, I remember you had the 45 as a kid.
Yes.
I remember you playing it on your deck. Turntable. That is not deck.
Right.
Although you did wear deck shoes as a goalie, which was smart shoe wear. Yes, Let me wear the lightest material shoe
to play goal.
play goalie,
That's right.
or as some kids said back in the day, Goldie.
Goldie.
It's not Goldie, it's Goalie.
Goldie.
Okay,
That's right. That's right.
it's not an actress.
No,
It's not Goldie
no,
Hawn.
not Miss Hawn.
Yeah. Hawn.
Hawn.
Goldie Hawn.
Hawn.
Madeline Kahn.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with the Peter Criss. You Matter to Me.
All right. Well, I'm now going to let you off the hook and you can breathe easier. I'm going to stop harassing you with these comparisons.
Throw me another one. This is great.
Oh, man. So now seeing you, how tough some of these were, you got me nervous because you're going to fire away some at me. And I'm like, oh, man, I have no clue what you're going to ask me now.
Well, some of them crossed over a little bit, but I'll start off.
I thought of that. I was like, how ironic will it be if we both choose like the same comparison on one of these?
Well, I'll say we didn't. So that's good.
That's good.
Okay, and also say that some of these are non-Kiss related.
Yep.
Okay,
that's fine. Yeah, that's good.
All right, so I'll start off with the first one. Two iconic Kiss covers, album covers, not cover songs.
Okay. Yeah.
Practically back to back, only separated by one album. Destroyer or the Love Gun cover.
Ooh. Okay. I noticed you left Rock and Roll Over out because you knew I would choose that. That's a smart choice.
Yeah.
Smart choice.
But stylistically, they're kind of, four of them standing. You know what I mean? That's why I chose those two.
I think I'm going to go with Destroyer. The Love Gun album cover I've always thought was cool, but the Destroyer album cover is just so damn iconic. The whole city burning in the background. I think the Love Gun album is good. Cover. The Love Gun album cover is good. I had both puzzles in the 70s, right? So, in the 70s, those were the puzzles that they had the Destroyer one and the Love Gun. Loved them both. I had big prints of both album covers at one point that I proudly displayed, but I think both done by Ken Kelly, right? So I want to give a shout out there. I think Destroyer overall is the better cover to me. Even the muted version, right? Originally, they were supposed to be like more fire in the background, and the city's supposed to be more, all of that. But just I'm looking. I got my Destroyer 45 box set right over here, and that cover is just so damn iconic. And the blues in the background are just so well done. Oh, yeah, Destroyer. The Destroyer.
Wait, did you say Destroyer 45 box set?
No, the 45th anniversary box set.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say, because if there's something that's out there that I didn't know that existed.
Destroyer 45th anniversary box set. Yes. Not the 45 like the single.
Sorry, I got to correct you on these things. I'm sure you could correct me on a whole bunch of things, but because all of a sudden I don't want a Kiss fan to say, wait, Kiss 45 collector. What is that?
You see, it was a dumb correction, Chris. Why would there be a Destroyer 45? There's no song Destroyer.
Maybe these songs that came off of that album, smart ass.
Then I would have said like Detroit Rock City 45.
No,
shout out loud 45.
No. It could have been a box set of Kiss 45s from Destroyer.
Nah, but it's not.
All right.
Destroyer album cover. Final answer.
Okay, good. All right.
What would you say? I'm curious.
I think you made good points for the Destroyer, and I probably would lean towards that also.
Okay. Very good. Sweet.
Okay. So you mentioned the solo albums earlier, and I was hoping you wouldn't do this one, but but you did touch upon, of course, Peter Criss.
Yep.
So Gene or Peter, which solo album do you choose?
Gee, somebody's going to go back and compare when we did our solo album rankings, and I'll probably end up giving two different answers now.
Well, I mean, listen, in time, you're allowed to change.
Yeah, and we did that in a year and a half ago at this point.
Yeah.
Song for song, I think Peter's album is better. I think so. Gene's album has songs that if I was ranking the 20, let's say it's 20 songs, I don't know if there's 21, but if there's 20 songs on the album, I think Gene's album,
20 songs on the album?
On the two albums combined.
Oh, okay.
You got See You Tonight, which I think is great. A couple of those other songs on the second side. Mr. Make Believe is great. There's a lot of like the Beatle type songs I think are great. Peter's got I Can't Stop the Rain, Easy Thing, which I think is great. Side one is a solid side to me. I don't like That's the Kind of Sugar Papa Likes, but this is tough. I think I'll stay with Peter by a whisker.
Oh, I see what you did there.
You like that, eh?
That's good.
I'll stay with Peter by a whisker, but ask me again in an hour and I might say Gene. But I do think song for song, Peter's album has more songs that I think are quality than Gene's.
Now, I loved how you said in your Brooklyn, Long Island accent, by a whisker.
By a whisker.
By a whisker.
It's my heritage. That's where I grew up, Brooklyn, Long Island. That's who
right.
I am.
So did I. Well, not Long Island, Brooklyn.
That's
now
right.
Now I'm in Staten, Italy.
That's That's great. Yeah, I'll go Peter Criss.
I'm gonna go the same. I think you probably would.
Yeah, I would know.
Excellent. All right, we're gonna keep the same theme.
Okay.
And we're gonna go back to back.
Back to back.
We're gonna call this the Vinnie Vincent invasion. Okay.
Yes.
I think you know where I'm going here. Creatures of the Night or Lick It Up.
Lick It Up.
Album. Whoa, I didn't even think about it.
I don't have to. Yeah.
Wow.
Except for Dance All Over Your Face, I think Lick It Up is an incredible album. Dance All Over Your Face has just been always boring to me. It's not a bad song. It's just boring. Go ahead. You're going to ask them?
I was going to say, so you don't think Creatures is an incredible album? I'm just curious, just as you just said the statement.
Yeah, I think Creatures is a tinge overrated. And I've said that before, and I know you've challenged me on that. I think Creatures is good, very good. But I think songs like Killer, Rock and Roll Hell, average songs. There's only 9 songs on the album, so 2 of them right off the top are average. Keep Me Coming is good, not great. Saint and Sinner is good, not great in my mind. So, but I look at Lick It Up, and I happen to always love Young and Wasted. I love Give Me More. Exciter is great. A Million to One is one of the best 80s Kiss songs in my mind. I always loved Fits Like a Glove. I was one of the few fans that loved they did that all through the 80s. I wish they'd bring it back now. I'd be totally excited if they brought that back now. On the 8th Day, I think is really good. I love Lick It Up. Lick It Up might be one of my top 5 Kiss albums.
So would you think this is a accurate statement in Kiss lore and Kiss land? Creatures is it's so beloved, that record?
Yes.
Maybe because it came out of the Elder era, or error, as some people may think. And so it kind of made Kiss rise above the ashes. And so that's looked upon more as a better record than Lick It Up just because of that?
I think it's a few things. I think what you just said is spot on. I think for some people, they didn't get to see the tour. They weren't really around Kiss during that time, right? Because Kiss had a very short tour, didn't go to some of the major cities. So it's this allure of things that they missed. It's the allure of having Vinnie Vincent in makeup for that short period of time. For that time, I know he's not on the album cover, but he's touring with them in that makeup. They sounded amazing live on that tour. I mean, if you go back and listen to some of the bootlegs, I'm big on that. The version they would do on that tour of I Still Love You was second to none. It's incredible. Absolutely. It might be better than the studio version. So I think there's something about people feeling like they missed that. And then the third component is there are some Kiss fans who saw Kiss on the Creatures of the Night tour for the first time. And I think you take that mix of those 3 different types of fans and it's a great album also. It's a very solid album. Came off the heels of Unmasked and Dynasty and The Elder, and people are like, yeah, Kiss is back, and it starts with Creatures of the Night with that big drum intro. There's a lot to love about it. So I could understand why Kiss fans are drawn to it. And maybe for some of those same reasons, look, I saw Kiss in concert in 79. The next time I saw them was on the Lick It Up tour, right? So maybe that plays a part in my mindset also, of why I like that album better. But, and I totally remember being excited to get the album and seeing the cover of them without makeup and Gene with the tongue sticking out. I'm like, yeah, that's my guys, there they are without makeup on. Maybe that plays a part into it, but I've just always thought, and I stand by it to this day, I'll put Lick It Up on as an album before I put on Dress to Kill. I think song for song, Lick It Up is better. Like I said, I think Lick It Up is in my top 5 Kiss albums. So that to me, when you said it, I'm like, no, this is easy, and that's not as much a knock on Creatures in as much as how much I love Lick It Up.
Well, I'm glad you said what you just said, because it leads me to the next thing. Okay. And I guess I could give my verdict on that too. I think "Lick It Up" for me flies under the radar maybe more than it should, you know. And I think I just always think of Creatures, of like that huge thing,
the drum
you know
sound,
what I mean?
right?
You know, and everything, and it just carries a lot of weight. But I think you're right in what you're saying. I can't argue with you on that. Obviously, what's great on Creatures is great.
Right.
Is phenomenal, you know, in a lot of ways. You know, I mean, Creatures of the Night, Love It Loud, War Machine. You know, I Still Love You. I mean, those are tremendous, you know.
Amazing songs.
On any record, you know.
Yeah, amazing songs.
And they were, you know, live staples for many, many years, so was stuff from Lick It Up.
Right.
Even more so from the Creatures, right? Because basically from Lick It Up, they've been playing Lick It Up and what else? Over the last 20 years.
Oh, the last 20 years? That's it. Lick It Up.
Right. So, you know, they'll do War Machine. They'll do
I Love It Loud. They've done Creatures of the Night on and off before this.
I Still Love You. I'm sorry.
Yep. So the band's definitely gravitated more towards Creatures, and I think the fans overall do. I think fans are going to be like, Mike, you're wrong. Creatures is a better album.
So I think I know where you're going to go with this, but it's going to make me want to argue with you, so I put it on the list.
Great.
Because you mentioned, and you just mentioned the album.
Okay.
Dressed to Kill versus Monster.
You know, I'm going to go Monster. You know that. So you put this in here just to antagonize me.
Yes. So you know I have a huge problem with this.
I think you put this more for yourself than for me. You're like, all right, I'm going to freaking antagonize him, and I'm going to antagonize all of his viewers at the same time.
I mean, you made a point about Two-Timer and Ladies in Waiting earlier, and fair point. But again, I just don't see how you have a Come On and Love Me, a Rock and Roll All Night. What else? Help me here. She.
Room Service is great.
Yeah.
Getaway, I mean, Rock Bottom.
Yeah, Rock Bottom. Oh my God, talk about an underrated Kiss song. You know, sorry for the brain fart, but I just don't see how.
Anything for My Baby, Love Her All I Can. These are all great songs.
I mean, I don't see how those songs alone, you know, don't weigh over Monster. And I know, listen, I've told you, I've tried to give Monster. I think there's some good stuff about it. Obviously, Dress to Kill's been around since 1974, 75, 74,
75. March 75.
March 75. And Monster came out in 2009?
No, after that, 2012.
2012? Okay.
Yeah, it's 2012.
Yeah. So obviously a lot more years, and you know where you could really. I just don't understand this one.
You know what? As we're rattling off, let me say this: as we're rattling off the song titles, I'm like, maybe I like Dress to Kill better. You know.
All right, let me ask you a question. All right, good. This is good that you had. Is there any song? Now I know Rock and Roll Night, but Rock and Roll Night is like, hey, come on, you know, it's the greatest, one of the greatest, if not the greatest.
No. I know. I don't tire of that song, to be honest with you.
All right. Okay. So is there any song on Monster that's better than that? Yeah, even thinking about it?
Yes.
You're lucky. You're lucky we had snow yesterday. And okay.
But I'm saying yes. I thought about it, and the answer is yes.
Okay.
All for the Love of Rock and Roll is better than Rock and Roll All Night in my mind.
There's certain things that terminate friendships. This might be one of them.
Yes.
I just don't understand.
I've always thought Rock and Roll All Night's a good song.
Good?
It's obviously an all-time classic.
Good?
I don't think it's an amazing song. I think it's classic, and I want every Kiss concert I go to end with Rock and Roll All Night, even on the Kiss cruises where I'm begging for deep cuts.
Rock and roll national anthem.
It sure is.
It is the rock.
I'm not
Nobody's ever said "All for the Love of Rock and Roll" is the national anthem.
No,
why doesn't Kiss play that live?
Well, wait, hold on. Did you ask me which song do I think is the better anthem?
No, a better
song. You asked me which song is a better song. I happen to think "All for the Love of Rock and Roll" is a better song. If you ask me what's a better anthem, what song do I want to close my concert? What song am I putting on for the casual fan? It's Rock and Roll All Night. What song do I think is better? "All for the Love of Rock and Roll." Yes.
Let me just tell you one thing. Boo.
Boo. Yes. Now, maybe I don't even think Rock and Roll All Night's the best song. Maybe even not the top 3 songs on Dress to Kill. If I put on Dress to Kill, I'd much rather hear Room Service. I'd much rather hear Love Her All I Can. I'd much rather hear Getaway. I'd much rather hear Come On and Love Me.
That is purely a product of because they played it live so many times. I think
those are better songs. You don't think Come On and Love Me is a better song than Rock and Roll All Night?
Better song? No.
You're wrong.
No.
You're wrong.
Why am I wrong? Why aren't you wrong?
Because I can't be wrong.
Yeah, that's true. It's your show. You own all the rights to this. Look, this would be an interesting debate with your fans.
Yeah. I happen to think Room Service is a lot better song than Rock and Roll All Night. And again, not because I'm tired. I just said I want every Kiss concert to end with Rock and Roll All Night. But it's a good song.
Listen, there's no chorus that's better than Rock and Roll All Night on that album. Period. End, in my opinion. And Gene's delivery on the verses, incredible. His voice, his tone, everything. It's like the perfect song, under 3 minutes, right? It's under 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's like 2:58 or something.
Perfect,
like that.
That tune. Yeah. There's a reason why that song has lived the test of time, not those other ones.
Of course.
Sorry.
Well, it's because Kiss plays in concert for 2,000 shows in a row.
That does help. They've obviously, but. I gotta disagree.
I think I prefer. I mean, it's a totally different album. I think I prefer "Shout Out Loud" over "Rock and Roll All Night." If we're going to talk Kiss anthems, so I'm making my own comparisons. For myself.
You know what? I'll say this. I'm not going to agree with you necessarily, and I think "Shout Out Loud" is a great, awesome tune, also. But recently, doing a cover of "Tomorrow and Tonight," I never realized how great that song is, and that song.
So that was the next one I was going to say. "Tomorrow and Tonight" and "Rock and Roll All Night" are almost equal to me.
Or "Tomorrow and Tonight" and "Shout Out Loud." Very kind of, but "Tomorrow and Tonight" was supposed to be the anthem of maybe, but it never got the same kind of appreciation like "Shout Out Loud" and of course "Rock and Roll All Night." For whatever reason, Kiss just dropped it. I mean, where "Shout Out Loud" passed the Love Gun tour. I mean, did they even do "Tomorrow and Tonight" past the Love Gun tour?
No, they never did "Tomorrow and Tonight." Period. That was done in soundcheck for the album.
So there you go. Right, that's
right.
So
2 nights on the Kiss cruise, and that's it.
Which is incredible. Like, how have you not? It's just.
And it sounded great when they did it live on the Kiss cruise. Absolutely great.
All right. Well,
I'm glad you put it on there, and I'm rethinking what I said, and because I very quickly answered "Monster" because I do love the album. Now I'm saying that's a tough one because if I think of "Room Service," "Come On and Love Me," "Love Her All I Can," I probably like those 3 songs better than anything else on Monster. So,
all right, that's good. I kind of swayed you a little bit. But
you swayed me? I think still, song for song, I think Monster is Back to the Stone Age.
There's more songs on Monster.
Hella Hallelujah. Yeah, there's more songs.
Like Dress to Kill is like 32 minutes long, too.
Right.
I mean, you're talking.
Yes.
Fair.
Yes. The only song on Monster I don't like is the last one, Last Chance. I'm not a fan of that. And Eat Your Heart Out, I'm not a fan of either. So I watched those with Ladies in Waiting and Two-Timer. You might persuade me to change my vote on this one because of those classics that I love, but it's close for me. It's really, really close. That's how much I like Monster. And you know that. That's why you did this to me.
Well, maybe you could do it in your wrap-up. You could give the final, because a lot of times you do your wrap-up at the end.
Yeah, I do my wrap-up at the end, which I usually record afterwards. So I'll let this one marinate a little bit.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. All right, so we're gonna keep the album theme going, but we're gonna go Kiss versus non-Kiss.
All right, let's do it.
And I thought hard about which Kiss record to bring because I thought some of them would be obvious which one you would choose.
Right.
So the first Sex Pistols record.
I knew there was going to be a Sex Pistols.
You know that. And I think I know where you're going with this, but it gives me a chance to fight with you again.
Okay.
Versus Love Gun. Now, originally, I was gonna if I put first Kiss album or Hot in Hell. I know how you feel about those records, I was gonna put the obvious choice.
So I think you purposely chose Love Gun because of the original 6 studio albums. That's probably my least favorite. So I think that's why you chose that. So had you chose Rock and Roll Over, it wouldn't have been a conversation.
I know.
Hot in Hell, it wouldn't have been a conversation.
Right.
And I love the Sex Pistols. Again, song for song, I think the Sex Pistols album is maybe even far superior to Love Gun, right? Because Love Gun side 2, but you got Love Gun, okay, that's good. Hooligan, Almost Human, great when I saw him do it live, but let's be honest, Plastic Castle I've learned to appreciate because of the acoustic version. Then She Kissed Me, I always liked it, but it's okay, it's nothing great. That friggin' Sex Pistols album, with the exception of the song New York, every single song on that album is incredible to me. Incredible. And I've told you before, I've seen the Sex Pistols. was my favorite concert.
Let's separate the words. Incredible to me. Let's separate those words.
Oh man, put it to you this way. I think with the exception of "I Stole Your Love," that's extreme. I was going to say I take every song on the Sex Pistols album over Love Gun, but that's not true. Christine 16 and I mean, "I Stole Your Love" is probably the best song across the two albums. It is the best song across two albums. But damn, "No Feelings," I still love that song. Oh, God Save the Queen.
Let me just be.
Go ahead.
Let me also be fair. I know I beat up on the Sex Pistols a lot, and you know, going back to that time, you know, when you would torture me in your house with playing shit over and over again. It kind of after a while, it's like you get
like immune to it.
Yeah. Exactly. And then I would wind up going out and buying the record, which I did.
And then you gave it to your brother, right?
Only recently, but then I acquired another copy of it.
8,000 albums in your collection, and you don't own that one?
No, I own two of them actually.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
Yeah, one was given to me.
That's okay. The friendship can remain then.
But what I will say about this first Sex Pistols record is obviously it.
Oh, really? Only Sex Pistols record, but okay.
Right, exactly. Right. They had what was that record?
The Rock and Roll Swindle, but that's whatever.
Yeah. But you know, obviously it was groundbreaking in the sense of what it was and what they did for the music business and for that. It's interesting. I watched and I would recommend this because you and I had a discussion recently, or we were talking about Joan Jett, and I was like, oh, I want to go see. And you're like, oh, I'm telling you, go see Joan Jett live. She's great. So anyway, there's a documentary on Joan Jett. You should watch it.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, so maybe have more of appreciation for Joan Jett and the Runaways and that whole thing, and they were showing some footage of some pictures, more pictures of her hanging out with like, what was his name? Sid Vicious and Nancy, whatever the hell her name was.
Spungen or something like that.
Right, and she was around, and Blondie's on it, and Criss Stein, I think is his name. And they're just talking about that time of what it was like and being punks and all that stuff. So it is kind of fascinating in a way, and you know, although you know, musically from a complexity or whatever, I think the Kiss stuff is even for Kiss, it's superior. You know, a lot of what you're getting is the aggression and the lyrical content that you know. I mean, I gotta be honest with you. As you know, I did a cover of Christine 16 yesterday, and I felt uncomfortable singing some of those lyrics.
Right.
And doing the rap when you really think about it.
You could have changed it to Christine 60, like they say now.
Yeah, right. And
I saw you coming out of the old H home that day.
Maybe I will do that.
That
and I was
funny.
And I was surprised that like the verse and both verses are like two lines basically. It's like there's hardly any lyrics in that song. When I printed it out, I was like, holy shit. But you know, obviously, you know, there's a lot of some political stuff involved with the Sex Pistols, like what they were talking about or singing about, that has more substance. Let's just say that. You know, but so not that I'm swaying towards the Sex Pistols.
No, I don't think you ever would.
But I understand.
If you did, it would be like an episode of Scooby-Doo. Rip off the mask, see who's underneath that.
It's Don Knotts again.
It's Don Knotts, exactly. No, but you know, I'll say this, right? To me, the original Sex Pistols bass player, Gunn Matlock, right? He was a Beatles fan, and he was involved in some of the songwriting, obviously, for the album, and a song like Pretty Vacant he was involved in. And I just love the whole melody of the song, and it's got a great hook. And it, yes, there was some of the serious lyrics that they were writing about, but that never mattered to me at all. For me, it was about just the songs were just catchy. I know that they're a punk band, but they had hooks. Aggression just for sake of aggression is a waste of my time to me. Whatever. Go be angry on your own time. I don't want to listen to that. But the songs have hooks. That's what I loved about it. Yeah.
I don't disagree with that, but I just guess when I weigh, Christine 16, I Saw Your Love, you know how much I love Love Gun.
Yeah.
Those three songs alone, and I probably could pick a four. Tomorrow and Tonight, those four songs to me are all killer. And I don't think there's anything on that record that's better than those four songs. Now,
I'll take God Save the Queen over the song Love Gun any day of the week.
Wow.
And for that matter, I'll take Pretty Vacant. I'll take Anarchy in the UK. I'll take No Feelings. I'll take Bodies is a great song. Love that song over Love Gun any day of the week.
Interesting.
I Stole Your Love. I Stole Your Love I'll take before all of those songs. But yeah, those 5 songs I just rattled off.
I think Love Gun is one of a perfectly written Kiss song. There's so much
Look, you're not alone in that, obviously.
I never get sick of that song. I love that song.
Yeah, it's not cold gin boring to me, but it's good. It's
the bass line,
top 75 type Kiss song, but whatever.
The opening, I mean, it's just Peter's drumming. I can't say Gene's bass playing because Paul played the bass on that, but we'll move on.
That's what she told me.
Whoa.
I don't even know what that is that you just sang. But okay.
Does he do that at the end? He goes,
I don't know. Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Sorry, folks.
I'm sticking with Sex Pistols.
All right. We're gonna move into another territory right now, out of the Kiss land.
We're going out of the Kiss land. All righty. People start clicking off now. All right, that's good. What's up?
2 tremendously huge singles of the 80s. Huge. From 2 tremendously huge bands from the 80s.
Where is he going with this?
We're going
bands,
with
not soloists. Okay,
no,
go ahead.
We're going with Bon Jovi's "Living on a Prayer" versus Def Leppard's "Pour Some Sugar on Me."
Living on a Prayer. I think "Living on a Prayer" is such a well-written song, great song. "Pour Some Sugar on Me," I think there's better songs on that album than that one. I mean, that's the classic. Clearly, that's the classic.
That's the reason why I chose them, because those are like probably the 2 biggest songs from those 2 bands.
Sure.
In the 80s, you know. I mean, I'm certainly going to agree with you on this. There's no fight here.
Now, had you said "Living on a Prayer" or "Photograph," oof.
Yeah,
I might go "Photograph" then, but "Pour Some Sugar on Me" was always borderline too cliche. I don't put it in the cherry pie bad medicine category at all. Not at all, No. But "Living on a Prayer" is just, to me, it's excellent. And the stories of them potentially not putting the song on the album, I'm going to call bullshit on that. There's no way a freaking producer heard that song and said, no, that doesn't belong on the album. Now, saying that, I happen to love the Bon Jovi song "Edge of a Broken Heart" that they recorded for that album, and they left that off the album and put on "Social Disease." So I guess anything is possible, but I sometimes wonder how "Living on a Prayer" wasn't the first single. That song is just so damn good.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Again, I mentioned Rick Beato earlier. He did, part of the series, "What Makes This Song Great," and he breaks down every little element of it. And people should watch that. Again, you want to talk about the perfectly written pop song.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes a point in that, and it says the pre-chorus is as good as any chorus usually in any song. That's how good that pre-chorus is. Yeah. And there's between the bass line, and credited to Hugh McDonald, who was the session for all those records. Yeah. I love the video of them doing it at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Alex John Such is up there playing the bass, and Hugh McDonald's on there. It's just, and I understand why Alex was there. Don't get me wrong.
And I'm glad he was there. Whether he was recording the albums or not, there's a lot of debate about that. Obviously, he was in the band for 10 years, a touring member. In doing interviews, he deserves to be there, in my opinion. Yeah. I know he didn't write songs, but regardless, he was the bass player in Bon Jovi for 10 years. I'll say this. Hysteria, great song. Great song. Yeah, had you chosen that would have been a tough one for me. I probably still would go "Living on a Prayer," but I think the song "Hysteria" is amazing. Yeah.
Again, I think "Living on a Prayer."
I know why you chose the 2. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the reason why it is 1 billion downloads. I think it's the most downloaded or streamed song ever. I think there's a good reason. From moment one that song comes on, I never get tired of listening to it. I know there's a lot of non-Bon Jovi fans in the harder rock arena, but even those I've challenged more so recently, friends of mine who are not Bon Jovi fans, and I even put on that Rick Beato video and said, how could you tell me that this isn't a great song? I mean, listen to, maybe just take off your bias hat for a second and tell me what's missing in this song. That modulation at the end, it's just incredible.
The whole thing, yeah. Now, also, had you chosen "Wanted Dead or Alive" or "Pour Some Sugar on Me," I'd go "Pour Some Sugar on Me." But you always know I don't. I don't like "Wanted Dead or Alive." I think that song is grossly overrated and not very good. But I never thought that even in the 80s. So
well, I could debate that with you another day.
Of course. Well, that's why I brought it up, because I know you disagree.
I still have another 5 on my list here.
So, oh boy! All right, let's go.
First Van Halen album or Appetite for Destruction?
first Van Halen album. And I'll say that, and I probably would have given a different answer 15 years ago because they're both great, incredible albums. But having just seen Guns N' Roses 8 months ago in concert made me realize I like Guns N' Roses. I don't love them.
And you loved them.
And I loved it when that album came out. I mean, I bought that album before it blew up.
That album.
We both bought that album. That's right. Yes, we both bought it. And I've got it hanging on the wall right over here still, signed by Steven Adler. I love the album. Absolutely. But I've come to realize that as much as I love the album, I don't want to say it didn't age well because that's not true at all. But it's fallen down my list of go-to albums where if I had the chance to see Van Halen tomorrow again, I'd jump at the opportunity. And now, if they were playing the first album, I'd really jump.
Now, if Eddie hadn't passed, would you think you still feel the same way, or do you have more of an affection towards the record because of Eddie's passing?
No, I don't think that that's playing into it. I think it's just a damn good album. I think back to 2-3 years ago when we were doing some of our first episodes, and I'd have to go back and look. I think the first non-Kiss episode we did was the first Van Halen album. And rating the songs. And I think the only thing I remember saying on that I did not like, that you thought I was crazy, was the song Little Dreamer.
Right.
I just think that kind of plods along and doesn't do much for me. But the rest of the album, Feel You Love Tonight, is one of my all-time favorite Van Halen songs. You Really Got Me, Jamie's Crying. It's just a freaking great album. So,
well, I'm gonna agree with you on this one.
Yeah.
I think they were both incredibly, moved the business in a lot of ways, and they inspired different generation of guitar players, certainly, because Agreed. I think we spoke earlier how Eddie, obviously, his style and two-hand tapping, and then Slash the Les Paul and that whole imagery of that, very different. But I'm going to agree with you on that one.
Okay.
I'm going to go to one. We're going to switch out of the music sort of arena. We're going to the movie arena.
This is getting crazy now.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So, the Star Wars Phantom Menace or Runaway.
The Phantom Menace is not a good movie. Now,
originally, I almost stole your idea.
I like that you did this. I like that you did this one.
Because we were talking kind of on the side. And I think this would brought on this podcast.
Right. I was trying to explain to you the concept, and I said, we could compare anything you want. If you want to compare Phantom Menace to Phantom of the Park, we could do that. And that was just something I spewed out, and you were like, ooh, I know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Which you never gave me what your answer to that would be. But Runaway is
Phantom of the Park. Yeah. And that's why I chose that one, because I knew you would have picked that. And I know, but I wasn't sure, because Runaway, first of all, I didn't know if you really saw the movie.
Yeah, I went to see it in the theaters, actually, when it came out. And I was just talking about the Runaway movie 3 months ago and saying to my daughter, so you got to watch that with me one day. I think I haven't seen it in 10, 15 years, so it probably seemed dated.
I've seen it in the last year or so.
Oh, have you? And did it seem dated when you watched it?
No. Nothing seems dated to me.
Right, that's true. Look who I'm asking. You watching friggin' Three's Company yesterday before you watched Gilligan's Islands. So, no, I happen to think Runaway is a good movie. I thought Gene played a good role in that. The templates, Ramsey. It's cool. I love it. Phantom Menace. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. There's a lot about Star Wars I like. I just said to my daughter again last week, the only thing that might
By the way, do you talk to any other family member?
No, not about Star Wars. Not about this type of stuff. My son and my wife won't care about this kind of nonsense, but my daughter has similar interests. But I said to her, the only thing that might be worse in Star Wars land than Phantom Menace is this new Boba Fett show.
Oh, really? It's gone downhill even more?
I haven't seen the new episode. We're supposed to watch it today, and I've heard that it's really good. So maybe after I put this episode out on the internet, I'll say, edit that. Phantom Menace is still worse. But you know what? Saying that, I did once watch like an hour and 40 minute edit of Phantom Menace.
They took out Jar Jar Binks. Is that the one?
Jar Jar doesn't fully bother me the way he bothers. That's not the reason I don't like the movie. Jar Jar Binks, whatever. I take him or leave him. I'm not a huge fan, but the pod racing scene goes on forever, probably longer than my explanation is right now. And some of the political talk back and forth is just like, I'm watching Star Wars. I don't need to hear all this political talk. When they condensed it down to an hour 35, I'm like, that flows a lot better. And there's obviously less Jar Jar as well. not a big fan. Not a fan of that movie.
All right. I'm glad I brought that up then.
In fact, when you said Phantom Menace, I was going to say, black screen, which is better. I was going to interject for a moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of that movie either. And I think Runaway certainly has a lot of charm to it. I think
I do too.
A great job in the movie, and you got
Tom Selleck and his mustache is in the movies.
Yeah, mustache,
That's that definitely Runaway.
Yeah. Okay, good. So I
like that one. That might have been one of my favorites so far, but you had fun on this one, so let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, I had to change this because I thought it might have been too obvious. So, and I'm glad you mentioned Live to Win earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Live to Win versus the second Fraley's Comet record. Originally, I had the first, and I just thought
Live to Win. Live to Win. Again, I just listened to it a few days ago. If I didn't listen to it a few days ago, I might have paused. But I happen to think that the title track, Live to Win, and the song Lift, I've always loved those two songs from the day I got the album. You know that.
Right.
The Second Sight album, the problem that I have with that is not that it's a bad album. It's certainly not an Ace Frehley album. It's a Todd Howarth album. I think some of his songs on there are excellent. It's Over Now, I think, is excellent. Time Ain't Running Out is excellent. The reason it becomes so easy for me to say Live to Win is because of Ace, not because of Todd. Ace's songs on that album are horrible. I'm trying to think. Separate. Jesus Christ, that is bad in my mind. Insane is good. I like Insane. I like The Acorn is Spinning a lot, actually. I think that's a fun song. What other Ace songs are even on that album?
I think there are less Ace songs on that record.
Yeah, it's just like I said, I think what makes it an easy choice for me is how bad Ace was on the album. Nothing to do with Todd. I like Todd's stuff. If Ace's stuff was as good as Todd, I probably would have said Second Sighting.
So if I would have said the first Ace Frehley album or Frehley's Comet, would you have chosen that? That's what
probably. Yeah, probably. Again, I've been going back and listening to a lot of my old audio concert tapes, and I went through a phase last week where I probably listened to 20 or 30 shows from that tour, and I'm like, it's a fun tour. It's a good out. Love Me Right, Calling to You, We Got Your Rock, Breakout. And the only song on that album I don't like, Rock Soldiers. The only song I don't like on that is Dolls. I don't know how that made the album.
I think that's. And again, for an Ace record, that's an almost perfect record. From top to bottom. There's not like
Stranger in a Strange Land is good.
That's why I didn't put that on there, because I just thought it was too obvious.
That might be one of the best, if not the best, outside of Kiss solo albums of any member.
What about Trouble Walking?
Like that album a lot also. I think
I like. That one,
I think I like the first.
Thought that was stronger than Live to Win, in my opinion, but
it probably is also. I would agree with that. I think Trouble Walking is very good as well.
Kind of flies under the radar, that record.
Agreed. It's a solid album.
How many times have I said in my opinion?
Probably a lot, and then you've mentioned flying under the radar a lot also.
Gotta come with some new catchphrases.
That's right. Yeah, really. Yeah, I think if I remember right, the song "Back to School" was on Trouble Walking. That's the only song I'm like, that's a throwaway. Take that off the album. But two solid albums by Ace there.
Okay, good. So now we're gonna go into a pop arena, and I know you have a certain fondness for these two artists.
Okay.
Not Kiss related.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you saw them both in concert. I know one of them is one of your greatest concert memories. I think you know what I'm going to be talking about here. It's going to be Madonna, who used to be all plastered all over the back of your door. She wouldn't exactly make the room per se.
I think there was a poster I had on the wall on the right hand side as you entered my room. Right. But she never made it into the room with all the rock stuff.
Once you got into the lair, you kind of forgot she was there.
That's right.
It was so strategically done on your part.
Yes, I never thought about it from that point of view. But you're 100% right. Yes.
Right. So Madonna versus Prince. Now I'm talking. Hold on, don't answer.
Yeah.
I'm talking body of work. Impact, everything. Just think I'm not a particular record, not talking about a concert. Because I know your concert memory of you were about to leave or everyone was leaving, and 15 minutes later he comes back.
And I cannot find that second half of my audio recording from that concert. It's driving me crazy, but okay, whatever, be that as it may. All right, I'm going to start off by starting objectively. This is not even a conversation. Prince, his body, his work, and his skill on multiple instruments, and his guitar playing is incredible, and there's really no comparison between the two. Oh, I will say from 85 to 88, for me, it would have been no comparison. Madonna would be my answer during that time period, right? 85, like you said, from 85 to 88, I was a weird teenager, man, right? I'm listening to Motley Crue and Kiss and Guns N' Roses in 87, and I love that album. And I'm listening to the Sex Pistols, getting into punk rock, and I'm listening to the Ramones, and I'm listening to Madonna. I mean, I don't know anybody else as teenagers that were listening to all of that. And, you know, now as adults, people widen the, yeah, maybe you, yeah, definitely, maybe you, right? Maybe that's why we were such good friends, right? But, you know, you remember in high school, it was the two camps. It was the rockers, and the rockers were even broken up into the people who listen to hair metal, and then people who listen to the Metallicas and the Anthraxes. And, again, objectively, how could I not answer Prince on this? I mean, but for myself, 85 to 88, Madonna was borderline with Kiss. You see what I did there?
Oh, I see what you did there.
And I still happen to thank you. The song Borderline, Lucky Star, Crazy for You, Like a Virgin, Like a Prayer is an incredible song. Incredible song. You know, it might be one of the top 10 pop songs of all time, maybe top 5 in my mind. But man, that Purple Rain album, also the song Purple Rain might be the best pop written song ever. You know, that's freaking incredible. I know why you put these two together for me, because, you know, in the 80s, I loved both of them. And I saw Madonna in concert, Radio City, July of 85. And I saw Prince in concert, Nassau Coliseum, March of 85, right? So clearly they were both, and I saw Kiss in between all of that as well. So, you know, and I was big into Wasp at that time as well. So how do you go from listening to Animal and I Want to Be Somebody to Dress You Up in My Love? I don't know, but I did. I really did. And I'll go Prince, but, you know, again, go ahead.
I'm gonna agree with you and disagree with you on this one.
Go ahead. Wow, so I'm surprised. I'm surprised you'd even consider Madonna in this conversation.
So Prince, obviously musicianship, you can't touch him.
Right.
I mean, it's you know, it's even silly. You know, I
Yes.
mean, Madonna's a singer. I think she was able to maybe play a little keyboard stuff.
Yeah, and she did help write her own songs. I want to give credit there.
Right. And she had great producers like Nile Rodgers.
Yep. And I know where you're going to go with this. What she meant for women in music is
no, I wasn't even thinking of that. But
okay,
but good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Wikipedia says she has 50 #1 songs in the chart. I don't even know how that's even possible.
Yeah, what chart are they talking about?
I don't know. So, but Madonna, I'm looking right here. Forbes. This was 2020.
Okay.
Madonna makes history with 50 #1 hits. 50.
Okay.
Now, I guess that may be singles or albums or whatever.
Right.
50.
Yeah. I find that hard to believe. And
I find it hard to believe. I mean, there's an article here. Artists with the most #1 songs. Madonna has 12 #1 hits.
Okay.
So I guess when they're doing this Forbes thing, and I actually have to look at the article here to see what they're talking. I mean, I'm just looking this up right now. So whatever. I guess what I'm trying to say is for, you know, I feel like, and I own some stuff that Prince did in the 90s and the 2000s, and obviously he never had anything bigger than Purple Rain.
Hard to, but yeah, I agree.
It's hard to. What I felt that Madonna did was her albums actually got stronger as she went along.
I would agree. What did I just say? I think Like a Prayer is one of the best pop songs of all time. That was like her 4th or 5th album. Now, in fairness to Prince, Purple Rain's not his first album also.
Right, and I have some of his early stuff from I think like 78 or 79, which is great. I think that even in, I think it was in 98, she came out with Ray of Light, which was kind of very different. I love that record.
No, it's a good album.
I mean, you know, and I was shocked at the time. I was like, wow, she could still crank out something like this, you know? And I know Prince for a while was also not Prince, and he was, you know, whatever he was doing.
Artist formerly known as Prince.
It's hard because musicianship, and you know me, I do a lot of different things. I'm wearing many hats. I'm always going to lean towards the Prince side of things.
Right.
But I just think with sheer amount of output, I think Madonna just gets the nod as far as the amount of, I'm not going to say quality, success, I guess, is more of a word, because there's a lot of stuff that Prince stuff flies under the radar because people just don't know those records, and they're great records, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, agreed.
But
and Prince did, after Purple Rain, go a little whatever left or right of center. You know, he wasn't trying to just keep putting out, like I remember when Raspberry Beret came out, obviously it did well on the radio, but it didn't sound like Let's Go Crazy or Purple Rain. It was like,
which is great.
It was a little like funky, like in a way to me, you know. It was different, whereas Madonna was, I think she evolved, but it was always in that pop spectrum.
Yeah, but I feel like a Prayer was very different from even True Blue, which is was before that, and even, I mean, Like a Virgin, you know, it was very much more mature. She wasn't singing in that like baby ass voice of like, you know, like listen to like if you listen to the vocal on Like a Virgin, she doesn't sound like that at all on Like a Prayer on that record, and that's why I loved that record when it first came out. I was like, wow, you know, this is like just incredible. You could hear the maturity.
In her voice. I would agree.
Yeah.
And, you know, in terms of Madonna, it's somewhere in between, I guess, the second and third album, the song Gambler, which was in Vision Quest. I always thought it was a great song. Nobody besides me probably remembers it, but I point that out because I was probably as big of a Madonna fan as anybody was in the 80s. And like I said, I probably, especially during that time, would choose Madonna. I think probably what weighs on my mind also is what she's become in the recent like 10 years is a tough pill for me to swallow. It's tough for me to listen, watch. Fair. So I'm trying
especially
really.
Especially when she put on that British accent, which I don't understand.
Yeah. So I'm trying very hard to just push that out of the equation, but the reality is it's part of the equation, you know, and
Prince isn't unfortunately here to represent, you know.
Right. So. Absolutely. So, you know, that probably also weighs in a little bit besides the musicianship, which I guess I'll always give the nods for musicianship, but good one. I like that. That was a good one.
So here's my last, and was a bonus question because we said
bonus question.
10 of these, And I don't know really where you sit on this because I don't know if you're even a fan of either.
No, okay.
And it's movies with the same actor. Let's see. I'm just gonna put that out there and let me see if you know what it is.
I have no clue where you're going, but I watch movies, but sometimes I'm hard pressed to remember who's in them. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, this is one of the biggest actors of all time. Okay. Movies from the late 70s. I'm giving you hints, and I'm trying to see if you get it.
Keep going.
More hints. Two big soundtracks.
Saturday Night Fever and
one.
And what else would be Grease?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Right. Oh, I like that one. I like that one a lot.
Two very different movies.
Yes. So I watched Saturday Night Fever 3 years ago, flying home from a business trip. It was.
Now, did you watch the R-rated version or the PG version?
The R-rated version, yes.
Because that's the one you got to watch.
Yep, it was on the plane. I had a 17-hour flight. I was coming from way overseas, and a lot of time to kill. And it was on there. And I said, I'm going to watch Saturday Night Fever. I haven't watched that in years. Or as I used to say in the 80s, I'd stutter into Saturday Night Fever. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I also just like a week or two ago on my Facebook page posted a video. I don't know if you saw it. I shared it. Somebody else had posted it years ago, but I saw it again, of John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John singing in concert. You're the One That I Want. And it was from like maybe 8 or 10 years ago. And then I went down a Grease rabbit hole that night, and I found a video of like almost the entire cast doing Summer Nights, again, like maybe 10 years ago, 8, 10 years ago.
I'm glad you did all this. It was good.
Yeah.
So at least
So both things, I guess my point is both things are somewhat fresh in my mind, because you start off by saying you don't know if I even like the movies or whatever. So, here it is. I watched one a couple of years ago, and I went down the Grease rabbit hole 2 months ago, maybe. So that probably surprises you. I will probably say I like Grease better. Grease, it's just fun. It's just fun. And maybe I'm thinking of the soundtrack more than the movie, because I was never huge on either movie. But I liked both movies. But Grease, Summer Nights, that's it's fun. It's cheesy. It's I sit there and I, like when I watched the thing with John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, when I shared it on my page, I said something like, if this doesn't make you smile, you need to have your brain checked, your heart checked, or something like that. It was like a feel good thing. So, whereas Saturday Night Fever is a little bit dark.
It's not a little bit. It is dark. It is dark.
You got somebody committing suicide, jumping off the bridge. Yeah, I'll go with Criss. I'd rather feel good than feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, for me, even though you're not asking, but I'm going to say.
No, I want to hear.
I saw Criss in the theaters as a 8-year-old, back-to-back days. Be my friends. I'll never forget it. The Lowe's Oriental Theater. That movie's always.
Wait, what? So you saw it 2 days in a row? You're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. When you said back-to-back days.
For the invite?
Well, that was coming next, but I was trying to understand why you went back-to-back days. I was like, is it a part 1 and part 2 that you saw? But okay.
No.
Criss 1 and Criss 2.
We just
went 2 days in a row. Thanks for the invite.
My friends on my block, even though we lived a block away, we had different friends. It was very, but we couldn't, as an 8-year-old, see Saturday Night Fever. It was rated R, so I didn't have the opportunity to see that until the 80s. Loved the soundtrack. I never had the record actually because I didn't have many records as a kid, but my friends all had the records. We must have, reenacted all those scenes and dancing and trying. I mean, it's fucking horrible, but you know what I mean. But I remember how impressionable that movie, and it's always been one of my favorite movies of all time. And I have definitely, we talked about like Crazy Nights. It brings me back to a time, and it really that movie does it for me. But however, at the time, you couldn't escape Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, and those songs, and to me are just it's incredible, and it's the reason why.
And you say Saturday Night Fever, and I'm thinking of the poster and the album cover, right, with John Travolta. Yeah. I mean, that's such an iconic photo. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and when I finally got to see it, I remember for the first time as a teenager, and I heard the language, I couldn't believe it.
Right.
I was like, wow, this is like, I mean, because they even use 4-letter words that sometimes aren't used in movies. I'm not gonna say that. But there's a rape scene in there. I mean, it's just that there's the rape scene. There's it's definitely not a feel good movie.
No,
it kind of is, but it's not. The only thing that makes you feel good is when that scene where Travolta takes over the dance floor on "You Should Be Dancing" is one of the greatest moments in cinema history. To me, as far as like for dance, I mean, just in general. I mean, and you could read the backstory of that, and he selected that song. He wanted to do it to that song. I think they wanted him to do it to another song.
Oh, really?
And he plucked it off of, and they chose that song.
Right.
And you also hear how Travolta really kind of went. I think they fired the original director, which was one of the big directors. I can't think of who it was. And he was fighting with. I mean, even as a young John Travolta, he felt like this is not like.
Well, timeline that was.
77.
Joran, yeah, I know it was 77. That was Joran, Welcome Back, Kotter, right?
Well, yeah, Welcome Back, Kotter, I think was 75, 76, or 76.
Right. But it was still on air, Kotter, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. It was
so he was already a star, know.
Right. But Saturday Night Fever made him a huge star.
Yeah. I don't know how old he was. I mean, we could look it up. Whatever, maybe he's 20, 21 years old, 22. How much influence he had, for that picture. Right. And then like I said, I think the director either quit or they fired, and they brought in another guy, and blah blah blah. It carries a lot of weight, that movie, just like the social, I mean, there's racism in there.
Yeah.
There's there's a rape scene. There's suicide. There's fun dance. I mean, you're like all over the place. You got religion. I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, if you really think
it's got so many layers to it. And here's a fun fact. You probably noticed. Do you know that movie was actually based off of an article that was in a magazine like 2 years? And the article ended up being made up. It wasn't a real article.
I just watched a documentary on that.
Oh, really?
Maybe you saw the same thing.
No. I've just somewhere along the way I read that years ago, and it just stuck with me.
Yeah. But yes, it was, whether it was made up or not, they still took it from that article.
No, the guy who wrote the article has admitted he made up the story.
Yeah. But he was still heavily involved in the movie.
Yes.
And the storyline and stuff like that. And he might have been even one of the consultants to it. I just watched the documentary. I forgot what documentary it was. But anyways, but then again, Criss, there's so many great aspects and so much I love about that movie. But yeah, it's.
Well, let me ask you this: of the two movies together, You Should Be Dancing, the song, or You're the One That I Want, the song?
You Should Be Dancing. No contest.
I think I'd go You're the One That I Want. It's a
You
feel
Should Be
good song.
Dancing. It is. I love. Listen, I love that soundtrack. But you also know I love the Bee Gees.
And David Grohl would
And
agree with you because he's just recently covered You
I
Should Be
mean,
Dancing.
Bee Gees. The amount of, I mean, incredible hits they did
Yep.
before they were Jive Talking, which were really
totally different band before the
right.
whole disco era.
They had to reinvent themselves out of the 60s.
And did incredibly
band,
well. Yeah.
Right. And unfortunately, they were, the whole disco sucks thing. They took a bashing, but what they did the smart thing. They started writing for other people, and had
Islands in the Stream,
hits.
right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what the other songs are, but there were others.
Yeah, I mean, just incredible songwriters.
Agreed.
And but yeah, I thought that would be because I think you knew that maybe you did or you didn't. I was a big fan of both those. I'm a big fan of anything 70s, but I don't ever remember you really ever talking about Grease. We never really talked about it.
Well, I'll close on this then with this topic. Did you know? I'm sure you do that I met John Travolta like 5 years ago.
Was there? I think that you posted a picture.
Yeah. So I took a photo with him. I met him, got to speak to him for a couple of minutes. He was so cool. And I had mentioned to him also, I was at a Foo Fighters concert like 4 or 5 years ago, and Jones Beach here in New York, and he was there. He's obviously friends with Dave Grohl, and they brought him out on stage, and he just like, during like band introductions, and I forget if they did like a brief part of You Should Be Dancing together or whatever, but it was just like, it was cool. It felt good. And like I made my own, when I met him, I made my own poster with like a big picture of the Saturday Night Fever classic photo, a picture from Grease, Pulp Fiction, Welcome Back Kotter, and I put like the date and his name on it, and I had him sign that just because there's so many iconic things that he was involved in. I was like, how do I choose it? Do I get him to sign a Saturday Night Fever poster? Do I get him to sign a Grease poster? What do I get him to sign? And I just decided, make your own and have it kind of be in a cover everything. So yeah, and you probably didn't know that I did that. So that was a good one that you chose.
And I know you're a big No Doubt fan, and I don't know if you know that. They did a cover of Bee Gees song. Did you know that?
I don't think I know that. No.
Yeah.
What's
they did. You Should Be Ted Dancing. You should be Ted Dancing. All right, that was a bad joke. All right.
That was boo, boo.
All right, they're not always winners.
Yeah, Hook, get him off the stage.
But there was one thing I wanted to end on the John Travolta thing that just from our childhood. I mean, I always say like Peter Criss and the Fonz were like the Fonz was my first idol, and Peter Criss. But I also wanted to be John Travolta, and I idolized John Travolta as a young kid. I had the Happy Days record player, was my first record player, or second record player. I think I had the generic. And then after I took that apart, put it back together, my parents got me Welcome Back Kotter. And I had the Sweat Hog shirt, as I had the Fonz shirt with the A, that whole thing.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about us growing up in Brooklyn, think about it. Welcome Back Kotter, the intro, you got them under the L, or the elevated train, going down 86th Street, which we grew up. We knew all those places.
We lived a few blocks from there.
And they had New Utrecht High School, which was pictured or filmed. Saturday Night Fever, again, was filmed in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, under the L, when he's walking in the beginning with the can of paint. He goes to Lenny's Pizzeria, which is still there. It was so cool that
eaten in Lenny's probably dozens of times.
It's so cool having that as part of our backyard, that we would walk down the street. How many times as a kid? You worked at Toland's on 86th Street.
Yeah.
Under that same,
when I got married, my first apartment with my wife, we were 3 blocks from Lenny's Pizzeria, 4 blocks from Lenny's Pizzeria. And we would get off the train coming back from Manhattan, literally like 3 stores or 3 doors away from Lenny's. And then
I didn't think about that because you were on, what's that?
20th Avenue. Yeah, I was on 20th Avenue. So I was right there. I was right. I mean, I saw Lenny's. Right, exactly. I saw Lenny's every single day. And I do have big memories also. Just talking to my mom about this a couple of weeks ago. My mom took me to 86th Street, where Saturday Night Fever, that whole opening scene is done. It wasn't for the filming. I think the movie was just coming out, and John Travolta was there to promote it. And 86th Street was, crazy. There were lots of people there. And I just remember being there for that. So it's certainly a childhood memory of mine, is being like in that scene there while they were promoting the movie when it first came out.
Well, I think they had said that they had to sometimes stop the filming because at that point he was already a huge star with
Right.
Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yep.
So all
Yeah,
that,
so maybe it was the filming. I just always assumed because there was so many people there that the movie must have come out already, and it was some kind of like premiere that they were, showcasing.
I actually remember you going to that and being jealous that I didn't go. I was like, wow, I didn't even know it existed. Like,
Yeah.
I think because your mom worked on 86th Street at the
Yes.
time, right?
Yep.
So she knew all the what was going
He
on.
worked a few stores away from over there.
Yeah.
So absolutely. So that was a good closing one. Good closing one, my friend.
Thank you. Sorry about the bad, no doubt joke, but it was better in my mind.
If I'm ranking your jokes over the 100 or so episodes that we've done together, that's maybe the bottom one. So, but something's got to be on the bottom, right?
I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
Okay, good. Fair enough. Well, that was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah.
We'll have to do something like that again, because I'm sure you come up with at least another dozen more comparisons, or and likewise. And I'll do some non-Kiss ones at all for you next time as well, because I did enjoy those, and I'll be curious to see as people watch this. We gave a lot of different comparisons here, so what kind of comments people will get, whether it's some of the songs I compared on you, the Peter Criss stuff, whether it's some of the movies that you compared on me. And I liked when you threw Runaway in there. Right? You said there was not a Kiss angle. Then Gene Simmons was in the movie, so you threw a little curveball there. So some good stuff there. This was a fun way to spend a morning into an afternoon. So thank you, buddy.
I agree. Well, thank you.
Yes.
Have me again.
Yes. On that note, everybody, as always, thank you for watching. As you went through this, let us know what you thought about some of these comparisons. What did you like better? No opinions are ever wrong, and we appreciate it. And as always, to end it, double Ringo.
Double Ringo.
Alrighty, there you have it. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us in this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. We really look forward to hearing your comments on all of the different comparisons that we had and which ones you like better. Again, no opinions are right or wrong, and we really look forward to hearing your feedback. Regarding Dressed to Kill vs. Monster, I thought about it a little bit more, and I guess I'd give the nod to Dressed to Kill, maybe by a hair, simply because of how long those songs have been with me. But I really love Monster, and I could actually change my opinion on that on any given day. That's how much I think Monster is such a good album. But I'll go with Dressed to Kill on that one. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. You could also follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you all next time.